This is the new iPhone SE. With a familiar design, it packs some serious upgrades on the inside. Namely the A15 Bionic chip from Apple's flagship iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. And this, I think, makes the iPhone SE a good place to start if you are new to the iPhone, or if you want a phone that doesn't break the bank and that still provides that Apple experience in terms of speed, reliability, as well as longevity. To test the iPhone SE, I actually switched from my iPhone 13 to the SE for the past week, and in this video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know. As always, I will leave all the purchase links down in the description. Let's get started. The iPhone SE starts at $429 or £419, which is actually a little bit more expensive compared to the last iPhone SE. It comes in 3 colors, from red to starlight and my favorite, midnight, and also in 3 capacities, 64, 128 and 256 gigabytes. Now, my advice here would be to spend the extra $50 and jump up to the 128 gigabyte model. Trust me, in the long run, this will be more than worth it. To help keep costs down, the iPhone SE features pretty much the same design as from the iPhone 8. And coming from the iPhone 13, this was quite an adjustment, especially in terms of size. Now, most won't be coming from the iPhone 13, so I'll make a separate video in which I talk in more detail about the switch. But looking at the iPhone SE on its own, the use of high quality build materials, glass on the front and back, as well as the aluminum frame, all look good, but also feel somewhat repetitive and out of date when compared to other smartphones in its price range, especially those large bezels going around the display. Speaking of which, the 4.7-inch Retina HD display is good. Colors are accurate, 326 pixels per inch mean even finer text is readable, and it also gets bright enough to use outdoors. However, because it is not an OLED display, colors especially won't look as good as on the iPhone 13s, or even some Android phones in its price range. The iPhone SE has an IP67 rating, meaning it is water resistant to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. In other words, you can comfortably use the phone in the rain. The thin design with rounded corners feels comfortable in the hand. And the home button does have one big advantage, Touch ID. Touch ID remains to be a fast and reliable way to unlock, use Apple Pay, and log into apps. But let me know in the comments, are you getting the iPhone SE, and if so, which phone are you upgrading from? I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about performance, as this is where the iPhone SE really shines and also sets itself apart from all of its competition. The iPhone SE features Apple's A15 Bionic chip from the flagship iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. The A15 Bionic chip is currently the fastest chip out there, and to see it in a smartphone that costs just over $400 is pretty incredible for 2 reasons. First, day-to-day performance is just buttery smooth. The phone never lags and performs great, even during more intense tasks like gaming and photo editing, just like the significantly more expensive iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. And second, the A15 Bionic chip does not just mean the iPhone SE will perform well today, but also in the next 4, 5, even 6 years to come. And this is something you're not going to find anywhere else at this price range. To add to the longevity, the iPhone SE now also supports 5G, something I currently don't use to preserve battery, but as 5G develops, it will be good to have the option. On the topic of battery life, the battery life on the iPhone SE is manageable, but it is also not one of its strengths. It is easy to kill during more graphic intense tasks. For example, using navigation in Apple Maps for an hour took 22% of my battery life. With normal day-to-day use, I get around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. For reference, with my iPhone 13, I ended up getting more like 7 to 8. During mixed day-to-day use, the iPhone SE gets me through most of the day, with around 25% remaining by around 8 p.m. In other words, on a day where you're going to be traveling or know you're going to be doing more heavier tasks, bring a charger or battery pack. If you are enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this in the future. Thanks for your support. Let's talk about the cameras. Camera. At this price, I prefer it when manufacturers use one camera and make that one camera as good as possible, rather than cramming in 3 or 4 lenses that are only okay. With that in mind, the iPhone SE features an impressive single 12-megapixel f1.8 wide-angle lens that, combined with the A15 image signal processing, creates for a camera that is truly best in class. Photos are rich in detail, you can see all the leaves on a tree, white balance is accurate regardless of lighting, colors are saturated while still being true to life, and skin tones are natural and dynamic range is outstanding. It is also hands down the best video camera at its price. It can shoot up to 4K at 60 FPS, autofocus is predictable, and image stabilization is smooth. What I find other mid-range phones struggle with is handling changes in lighting while recording. Here too, the camera on the SE really excels, and it handles changes in exposure with ease. The A15 chip also allows for some new iOS camera features, such as photographic styles and deep fusion. No night mode though. Unfortunately, Apple have kept this for their flagship iPhones only. The iPhone SE may have only one camera, but I do think it is one of, if not the best, single-lens camera systems out right now. At the end of the day, the iPhone SE formula comes down to the following: old design, top-of-the-line chip, fantastic camera, and an attractive price. And this makes for a phone that will last for many years to come, and for the price, it is easy to recommend. The only compromise with the iPhone SE is its design. It's not a bad design, but I do wish the screen was larger, and let's just say I look forward to seeing a more modern iPhone SE redesign with the next generation. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're interested, I will leave the purchase links down in the description. If you haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend watching my iPhone SE unboxing, as well as my iPhone SE Ultimate Guide to get the most out of your new iPhone. Thanks for watching and take care.